All right. Thank you very much for the introduction. And you spoiled the opening. I think they were gonna reveal all the GoTo Foods brands. I'm kidding. But that is a good place to start. It'd be great, Manuel, Brett, if you could just introduce yourselves, and then for people who don't know what the heck GoTo Foods is, illuminate that for them.
Yeah, so Brett Newcome, Director of Marketing Technology. So lead a lot of our CDP initiatives, so owner of Amperity, but really anything customer data, identifiable data within our portfolio of companies.
In Manuel Valdes, I'm the Chief Technology Officer for GoTo Foods. I'm the head of technology, so lead the whole technology organization. So GoTo Foods, it's a portfolio of, it's a platform company. So we own 7 very iconic brands. Like Mohit said, we own Jamba, Auntie Anne's, Cinnabon, McAllister's, Moe's, Schlossky's, and Carvel. I didn't miss one, right? So it is quite an interesting industry. I'm new to the food industry. I come from retail. I was in retail for several years, and I was brought to actually help with the building of the platform, like doing a standardization across. I mean, when it comes to data, when it comes to other things. So my favorite brand would be, I would say, Auntie Anne's. I mean, I'm very, very fan of Auntie Anne's. I like the little pretzel nuggets with caramel. I love that. I actually just discovered that. A friend of mine just introduced me to that, so I love it. But
I got to put you on the spot now. Like, what's your go-to Foods brand?
So the data guy in me says it depends. So it really depends. But I would say because we have 2 kind of different types of companies. So we have our restaurant brands, which are Moe's, Slotsky's, McAllister's, and then we have also our snack brands like Auntie Anne's and Cinnabon. I would say my restaurant, Slotsky's. I love Slotsky's from a sandwich standpoint, sourdough bread. It's phenomenal. And then I'll be a copycat. Auntie Anne's is also one of my favorites. Just kind of in the mall as a kid, back when you would go and shop. Getting an Auntie Anne's pretzel was the thing. So yeah.
Perfect. For those in the audience who haven't had breakfast, I apologize for starting here. That was mean. You mentioned, Manuel, the idea of being a platform. It's an interesting word to think about in the context of a collection of brands. Help me understand how that shapes your approach to data, to growth, et cetera.
Yeah, thank you. So it's actually right now not only about data. We're doing building a platform across all of our technology stack. We are standardizing, getting to a one point of sale system across all of our 7 brands. We are going into building a complete digital platform across our brands. And Amperity and Databricks are set at the center of it. So our intention is to build a very massive personalization engine. We need to get to know our customers across our brands and inside our brands. So Amperity is actually being kind of the center of our universe when we have all the information from all of our customers in a customer 360 manner.
Got it. And I guess I'm imagining the experience of going and getting a Jamba Juice or getting an Auntie Anne's, and it's hard for me to understand what types of data are in this kind of platform. Like what's in there?
Yeah. So I mean, as any other restaurant organization, we have point of sale, we have loyalty platform, we have catering platform, we have everything that touches the customer. So what we do is that we bring all of that data using Databricks, and then we ingest it into Amperity. Mm-hmm. And that's where we actually do the stitching, right? We are able to recognize our customers in a 360 manner. But in order to do that, we need to get all data from every place that touches the customer. Our digital platform, when you visit the site, when you visit the application, when you purchase something, when you go into the store, when you create a loyalty account. So everywhere that you go that we have knowledge of you as a customer, we bring it into Amperity.
Got it. And I guess like, are you tracking that across different brands, or is like, am I just a Jamba customer, or if I go from one place to another, is that kind of integrated?
Yeah, so we have a couple different views that you guys have set up for us that allow us to kind of operate within a vertical or within a brand, and then also have kind of that overarching view. So we have some choices when we're really choice of activation. So email's pretty straightforward in terms of regulation, registration, all of that stuff. We're able to segregate and activate specifically within a brand, but still be able to take advantage of the data that another brand is generating, or an insight, or an automation that we've set up, and so on. So we're doing a little bit of both, honestly, to kind of garner as much insight as possible, and then also activate as much as possible using those economies of scale across our 7 brands.
You have Databricks. It's a great platform. It lets you do a lot of things. I guess in theory, you could try and do all the things Amperity's doing, on top of that platform. Like, why Amperity? What sort of justifies that as, a layer of the stack?
I think that I know that we made a very good decision on going for Amperity. So Amperity is a Cadillac for identity resolution in the market. So, and that's what we needed. Okay, so we have all the power of Databricks. We have all the data in there. But we need a tool that was going to allow us to stitch the data, that was going to help us stitch the customer journey, so across several or steps of the journey, and also across brands. So right now, to our liking and to our knowledge, there is really not a better tool for that in the market. Okay, so obviously. It's tech. You can always do tech, and we're all geeks here, but and you can build it, but it is actually the easiness to do this with Amperity is actually helping us be more productive. And why build it again when somebody is doing it at this level of excellence? I don't know if you want to compliment.
Yeah, and coming from positions where I've built that, where I've had to do that work, there's a lot of pros to taking advantage of what you guys have built, what your customers have built, both from a probabilistic stitching standpoint. Like Manuel said, it's a Cadillac. It allows you to see everything about that customer and how it's getting put together and the decisions it's making. And then you put that into kind of the unified schemas that you guys have. It just is a massive, massive time saver in being able to put that together. And one of the things that we use it heavily for is to put together those lookalike audiences within paid media and activate through paid media, which allow us to keep track of which customer we're putting where. And then on the back end of those campaigns, being able to measure, being able to actually say, hey, we provided some value here because we knew this customer was put in, and then we're suppressing, so we're paying money for our new customers versus our on top of existing customers that we know we already have acquired, but Facebook doesn't, as an example.
I've been in retail, and every single retail organization is doing it right now and one of the main challenges that you will find is the ability to do the stitching, okay? The ability to do it in a probabilistic manner. Mm-hmm. So a lot of CDPs can do this in a deterministic manner, which is basically email equal to email. Okay, this guy is okay, easy, right?
Yeah.
The advanced capabilities when it comes to probabilistic resolution that Amperity has is actually what is helping us. So with a very high level of probability, we can actually determine that Derek is Derek based on different pieces of data that we're stitching together. It's really, really important for us.
Makes sense. And then obviously there's still a lot of room for use cases on Databricks. So I guess talk about sort of how Databricks kind of extends and maybe sort of the better together of the Databricks and Amperity combination.
Yeah, so one thing I would say is the delta sharing has been a game changer of economics for us, because we're not having to build out processes that are specific to data sets. We can just go in, select what we want, and I'm oversimplifying it, but it's really not that much more complicated than that. But we build out what we need in our core data sets within Databricks. We have the governance around that, the process around that within Databricks. It aligns with our other data sets within, and then we are able to basically select that, bring it in, and then start work on top of that. And that work that we do in Amperity is much less than what we were doing a couple years ago, just because we have that centralized data set within Databricks that we've educated with the features coming out of Amperity. And then when we're all done with it, it goes right back into Databricks, so that we can do reporting. We can bring that into that identity into other core services that we have within personalization or loyalty, even on top of building out just more complicated, more sophisticated modeling as well for reporting and dashboards. It's all there.
I'm going to speak not from a very technical point of view, but from a financial point of view.
I thought we were geeks, Manuel. What's going on?
He's a geek.
That was a pivot.
I'm just
Yeah.
here for the trip. I mean, from a CTO point of view, I'm also need to make sure that our technology is cost efficient. So food is a very, very tough business, right? Well, you need to make sure that what you spend actually comes back in the form of a sandwich sale or of a pretzel sale, right? And you need to make sure that you make the most of it. So using Amperity and Databricks together, we're saving a lot of money when it comes to our cloud. Mm. So I mean, these capabilities are saving us significant amount of money on storage. We're using Azure. We're potentially moving into another cloud, but the amount of storage that this is saving us is significant. So there are also financial benefits of using Amperity and Databricks together.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's maybe a good segue, right? We talked about kind of the nuts and bolts and sort of the functions and what it's doing. Maybe if you could share an example of how this is actually kind of working in practice, just to kind of light up the, how we get to the sandwich and pretzel purchases.
Yeah, so for us, in terms of activation, there's two sides of what we use Amperity for. That core identity, which is that probabilistic algorithm that we empower across all of our 7 brands, our 2 different types of businesses, to get to that core identity. So we were able to say, hey, this is Derek. Derek's done catering with us. Derek's been a big Jamba guy. And he's also made some guest purchases across the board as he's been traveling with the Moe's and Slotsky's. So that's that core identity that we use that for, so that we have that centralized identity. And then the other part of that is, how do we get data back out and back into our marketing platforms? So right now we use Amperity predominantly for managing that data sync between our different media platforms. So we can target and suppress our various different audiences and our loyalty members within our media. So when we're doing an acquisition campaign of, hey, come join our loyalty program because of X, we are much more likely to be talking to people that aren't in our loyalty program, because we're suppressing those folks, and we're also targeting people that are guests that haven't joined our loyalty, and we know that because of Amperity. And then on top of that, we have email and other messaging channels that we are starting to bring that data together from Amperity, and using those to not only enhance the personalization within those emails through profile attributes and so on, but also activating specific campaigns for customers that we know will be more likely to take an offer or to redeem a certain redeemable for tea or something of that sort, all because Amperity is that all kind of consolidated data set within our company.
Yeah, from a business perspective, using Amperity for paid media is actually, I mean, again, we're a food company. So our media funds, our ad funds are not as big as a Subway or whatnot. So, however, using Amperity is actually making our media more effective. Okay, so media spend more effective. So we're able to use more dollars to bring more customers into our properties by using the effectiveness on the lookalike modeling and the suppression logic of Amperity is providing to us is actually saving us a lot of money or making our money more effective, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah, and paid media channels aren't getting cheaper over time, so those costs savings and the value kind of scales there. So it's good. It sounds obvious. It sounds like something everybody would be doing, but I'm surprised, how often people aren't doing that. So the power of having a good data foundation, I guess. Related, how do you think about like success metrics, right? If somebody says, hey, we've got all these checks we write to Databricks, Amperity, all this sort of stuff, like what are the kind of core it's working success metrics that you all pay attention to?
Yeah, so I would say that the two parts of that are the cost that it would take to do this without Amperity and Databricks. So there's an economic calculation that you can do to say it's going to take this many people over this many time, and that is a definite win for us because we don't have to move data around like you would have previously. The second part of that is incrementality. So it's getting harder and harder as attribution becomes harder and harder online through digital tracking, through cookies, consent, all of that wonderful stuff. So, coming from that in my background, building many, many attribution programs in the past, simplifying it down to just target control testing and being able to do that in a very calculated manner, Amperity excels at. The ability to track who's where and when, and then be able to very quickly realize what that customer did after they received that campaign or after they got put into that audience is really the foundation of incrementality, and that's really what we're pushing towards in terms of measurement and success for Amperity as a program.
Makes sense. I know you're both deep in the data and just, and kind of walking over here, I heard you sharing some interesting insights and I'm curious, like, what's the weirdest correlation?
I wouldn't say weird. We haven't really got to that level yet, but I would say that we've affirmed a number of those organizational assumptions or invalidated them. So one of those were, how many times people were transacting as a guest after they joined our loyalty program. So high frequency users, the Jamba case, I would ask Roette, how many times a month do you visit a Jamba, right? Do you use your loyalty every single time? Probably not. Your app's not working. You're not logged in potentially. It could just be that you were in a rush. So we always have those use cases where, you have the opportunity to transact, but not necessarily attaching it to your loyalty account. It's not like travel where there's a big transaction every single time. These are very quick, very kind of simple transactions that happen frequently. So being able to validate that, huge for us. And there's also a couple other use cases of really looking at how people redeem and use rewards. You would think just naturally that everybody would want to use rewards all the time. That's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of, hey, I just want to eat today. That happens. So being able to drill into that and look at the value of redemption, for things like our TPass subscription, it's very, very interesting as we get into things.
So one important point there is going back into one of your earlier questions about if we bring the data from different places. So historically, our business was looking into metrics such as frequency based on loyalty reports, like you said. So we will say our McAllister's high-end customers will purchase 5x per year. With using Amperity, sometimes we have been able to see that it's not 5x, it's actually 12x or 13x. And that changes drastically on how we act on our segments. Actually, it actually changes our cohorts. So traditional segmentation that was happening in the business using one point of data, where we were making bad decisions, or not, I will say bad, but we were making incomplete decisions. by having all the data in one place and stitch and having the ability to look at all data together and guest and anonymous and loyalty identified, we're able to see complete different behaviors. And that is huge for our business partners, right? It allows to make better decisions in a faster manner.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I guess how does the very data-driven approach, like kind of as you adjust the cohorts, how does that like change how you engage guests?
I will say that we changed. I mean, it's actually going into my 10 seconds ago. We are changing from being reactive to being proactive. Okay, so we know you as a guest. Now we don't react based on something that you did. We are actually able to predict what you're going to do. When you open your app now, you're able to see, oh, we suggest that you buy this thing. It's because we know you. It's because you know your birthday, we know your purchasing patterns, we know how often you buy from a certain brand or not, and we're able to make decisions in the minute, right there, using machine learning, using AI, using Amperity, using Databricks. So we are going from a reactive to a proactive approach. I mean, we are able to use your location. We geofence, I mean, within the levels of consent and preference, of course, which is also an Amperity. And we're able to know what you consent to, what your preferences are when it comes to being contacted at a certain channel. So we can make better decisions there. We can personalize our reach to you. We can give you a reward the day of your birthday. We can anticipate that you order a burrito, home wrecker, every week on a Tuesday, right? So we are able to know you better as a customer, and this is huge for us because, I mean, in contrary to retail, food is about you want to eat. Okay, so it's lunchtime. I only have 1 hour. I need to find the place that I'm gonna be eating at, or it's a weekend. I'm with my family and I need to find the place where I want to take everybody. It's gonna have fun. So the more that we know you, the more that we can be enticing to you as a customer. So data is about that, right? Getting to know you, getting to make better decisions.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll just add one thing to that is once we find something that seems to work, because we're operating in a centralized, standardized model, it's not a whole other effort to enable that in another brand. Some of our brands aren't big enough to really take advantage of those economies of scale to do the big work that we're doing in Amperity and Databricks. But we have that opportunity when we have one platform, and you guys do a great job of enabling different brands throughout the platform to allow us to do that as well.
Got it. That makes sense. So you've made a big investment, you've built this data foundation, you've gone from reactive to proactive, like gold stars for both of you. But the world keeps moving, we gotta go somewhere, new. And I'm curious, like as you look out into the future, what does sort of personalization look like from this great starting point to where you think things are going?
So that's a very good question. Our goal, obviously, we are hoping we'll get there, is to reach the level of personalization that you will find in the travel industry, which is really some way ahead of us and retail, where every single touch feels relevant and tailored to you. So that's our goal. So it's not only about personalizing based on your current habits and so. Our desire is to be able to predict what you're going to do, right, and be there for you. Anticipation. So we need to get there. We will get there. And then also we're building customer experiences, journeys based on that. So we want to make sure that we are, in comparison to another industry, we want to be there where retail is. We want to be there where travel is. So food traditionally is always one step behind. Our goal in GoTo Foods is actually to be closer than one step behind. and by investing on platform decisions that are available for all brands or future brands. So the nature of our business, we are part of a portfolio, right? So building a platform that has a one point of sale system across, that was one digital platform across, that was one customer 360, one CDP, one data platform, and everything connected, right? It's not only having one POS, one digital platform, one CDP. It's connect everything, right, and make it work in an orchestrated manner. Then in like Brett said, not all brands are equal. Okay, ones are smaller, ones are bigger. Auntie Anne's you might find that it's bigger than a Jamba, although Jamba is getting there. So building this type of making these investments is actually helping us to be ready for another brand. Okay, so we bring another brand, we just plug it in the platform, and making it happen. So that's the power of the platform, right? And that goes to support our mission, which is feeding people and potential. So that's. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, for sure. And yeah, it's interesting to think about, like, you started by mentioning that GoTo Foods is a platform, and I thought, oh, that's kind of a interesting way to describe kind of this portfolio. But it's interesting, right? Platforms get more powerful as they have more scale, right? Mm-hmm. So, building this strong foundation allows you to kind of plug in new modules, and sort of the whole collection gets better. You keep getting smarter, and that'll certainly help you drive that experience.
I would say that if I give you an example on something similar, it's the travel industry, the hotel industry, hospitality, like Hilton, like that you can be in any of the brands and feel the same. I mean, we respect the brand identity, of course, but the foundation that actually powers everything that is happening from a technology perspective in each brand is pretty much the same. We just tailor differently based on the branding needs, based on the identity of each brand. But at the end of the day, we're a portfolio, we're a platform organization.
Makes sense. Who's hungry? Awesome. Well, I appreciate you all making some time and sharing insights. Super interesting to hear more about the business, and obviously we're proud to play a small part in the work that y'all are doing, and excited to kind of help you build for that future. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.